Child spends $16,000 on iPad in-app purchases inside of a Sonic game. The 6-year-old was playing Sega's Sonic Forces and decided that they needed to buy add-ons for the game, starting from $199 up to $99.99 bundles. They needed those gold coins in the game.
Okay. What kind of game has like a $16,000 like limit? Or not even a limit.
No,
but
that's just when they figured
going.
it out. There is no limit. Well, there's no limit, man. There's no limit to this. Now, there are differing opinions on this story, all right? So the 6-year-old was kind of obviously left alone with this iPad, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And people feel like, hey, man, don't let the iPad babysit your kid. Like, you should be at least nearby enough to recognize that the kid is constantly cashing in on these chips on the in-app purchases.
And it's so easy.
So easy.
Oh.
You gotta take a peek at the iPad every so often and be like, what are you up? Why are you so into this game? What are you doing specifically? The kid has some type of addiction. I don't even know a 6-year-old. Yeah, you know what? A 6-year-old knows kind of what they're doing, but not to the extent of maybe recognizing the massive implications for their family. And so, of course, there are features that exist inside of iOS to limit this functionality, to require a password or a Face ID before every purchase. And the mother, did not have those things in place. So many people are coming out and they're blaming her. And I get it. I understand that side of it, saying, look, it's your job as a parent you wouldn't give your kid your credit card either and say, hey, do whatever you want. So I understand that part of the argument, but then on the other side of the argument, they're saying, hey, where's Apple on this? Can they do anything to help? And Apple apparently hasn't been interested in helping at all. The credit card company, when they were originally contacted, because this woman this mother, I guess, hadn't checked her emails or didn't really necessarily know how to track these expenses, she contacted a credit card company, Chase, who they said it looked like fraud to them, and they opened an investigation. In the meantime, that investigation was going on, the amount of time necessary for a refund, it expired with Apple, and Apple didn't want to do anything. So currently, this regular family, I presume, relatively regular family, is in the whole $16,000 and really doesn't have much recourse outside of going to the news media and seeing what might take place. So a real rough situation, especially just before the holidays over here. And I don't even really know what my take is on it. To be honest with you, it's just terrible. Yeah. Somebody needs to step up, I think. Let's look at what was actually transmitted. A little bit of data, a little bit of gold coins went one way. Like, who needs to be contacted here? Between a Sonic or Sega and Apple, really, there's no recourse over here for a situation like this? Like, who actually legitimately wants 16,000? I understand if it was like 1,000. They'd be like, okay, that happens in our game. Some people spend 1,000. But what kind of maniac is spending $16,000 on the in-app upgrades on the Sonic game?
Yeah.
Like, this has to be an outlier. If you're Apple or Sega, shouldn't there be some sort of a, much like how the credit cards work when they believe there's a fraud, where they just shut the account down in advance and just say, this is too unusual, this behavior. And what degree of responsibility do we put on the companies to build in those algorithms to be able to identify when a particular behavior looks more like a 6-year-old?
It's interesting that there's no regulations for these games, spending money in these games.
Well,
there should be a limit.
Well, what they would say is that the features do exist to put those limitations. It's up to the parent to enable those features.
Right, but that's the iOS feature.
Yeah.
It should be within the game as well.
Right.
Because if, the parents don't really know, like, the limits of it or like the features.
I think there's an easy algorithm here. They can buy it from one of the finance companies. In fact, they have their very own credit card. There's an easy algorithm to recognize a strange behavior, to put a freeze on the account, and then require a new password to be able to continue to spend, in which case the 6-year-old would have then not been able to do it. But anyway, that doesn't exist. Yes, the mother should be paying more attention. I think two things can exist together.
Yeah.
It's like our earlier story. It's like, definitely your child should not be left alone exclusively enough with an iPad to even have the time to spend $16,000. If it's $199 for a pack, how many hours was this kid playing a game? I mean, that's another scary aspect to it. So, but anyways, nonetheless, they're in the whole $16,000 for now.